Alright, so tonight I want to talk about childhood, growing up, how everything was when you have gender dysphoria in you. From a very young age, I knew it was different. I'll say I first gave signs of having dysphoria when I was about three, 4 years old. Um, and that was like it was subtle, but at the time it was also accurate. Like when I was playing, I did not want to play with the toys I had to, the toys that they were giving me. When I was being dressed, I would not want to wear the clothes that I was being forced to, and just simple stuff like that. Um, so that was pretty much growing up. I remember I got to a point when it was around, that was in like 1997, something like that. I was around 6 years old. In that point, I was mature enough as a kid to know a couple of things. I came to the conclusion of one, I was not happy, and two, the reason why I was not happy it was because I shouldn't have been born in that body. And number three, I thought to my mind, oh God, if I could change this, I would. So that's a lot coming from a 6 year old. That's one. When you start thinking about having any medical like intervention into doing something, and by that time I didn't even know that any of this like transitions methods would exist. So for a 6 year old to think about that, you know, something big was happening. I remember my breaking point. My breaking point was when I got my first period. Uh, when I got my first period, I was about 10 years old, and it was just hell for me. It was hell because there was no going back. I was forced to realize that I was going in a direction that I did not want to go, and that was my breaking point. I remember being crying for a very, very, very long time when that happened. About 3 weeks daily, I'd be crying. And when my mom would ask me, why are you so disgusted by this? Why are you so uh, depressed for it and crying for it? I would say, I'm not a kid anymore. That's what I repeatedly say. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a kid. I want to go back to being a kid. Because from that point on, I knew it couldn't get better. I knew no miracles could happen, and I knew that it was just the end of me. It was just the end of life as a kid, as having no gender, and I had to look for an identity um, to carry on through life. So that was pretty much um, childhood. Then the teenagers years come, and that's a different story that I will make on another video. But that was childhood. I believe childhood for a transgender person is never easy. It's the crappiest thing that you could go through. Besides that, the second worst it could be adolescence, but it, at that time you kinda know what's happening, and you can just research. But when you're a kid, you don't know what's going on, so it's a lot harder. Well, childhood video, and we'll see what happens later on.